What's happening, YouTube? It's Simon466cards. Today we're going to talk about how buy it now listings can impact the auction price of the same card, and how there is an interaction between auctions and buy it now listings, and how you can remove that relationship and how it would benefit you. So let's get started. On the screen right now, it is one of my favorite cards in all of basketball cards. It's the 2007 Topps Chrome Tim Duncan. This is the refractor version out of 9.99. So there is a limited pop count on these things just because they're serial numbered. And I'm looking at all cards that are graded by, you can see here, PSA and SGC. And right now you can see there is an auction going on right now. I'm recording this video on August the 11th. And you can see right now, 10 bids in, it's at $12. They have a ways to go before this ends. The problem is, if you look at the other listings for this card, there is a PSA 9 listed here for $175 or best offer. You have an SGC 9.5 at $150. You have another PSA 9 at $270 or best offer, a SGC 9 at $450, and then another $175 for a PSA 9. And so why is that a problem? Well, it's a problem because that means there is no rational reason why this auction will ever go above $175. And realistically, probably closer to $150 if this person's at a best offer, right? And so the existence of this buy it now listing and this buy it now listing, because they're the two lowest ones, and I would even say this 9.5 buy it now listing for an SGC 9.5, it limits how high this card can go, because no one would ever logically bid up to 175 because you have this 175 right here. I mean, you might even be better off cracking this out of the SGC 9.5 and see if we can get a 10 and spending the $20 to grade it and a few bucks to ship it, right? And that's basically the point of this video, is that the existence of buy now listings will limit how high the auction price will go. So if you have a card that is somewhat rare, for example, let's say you own this Tim Duncan Topps Chrome out of 9.99 as a PSA 9, when you see a card with the same grade and the same everything go up for auction, you should remove your listing and remove that artificial ceiling on the card. So like, think of a world where, someone wants the card, but if you remove all the listings here, then you remove that cap that's on the card, and that might actually lead to bidding above and beyond what your former price was. Now, you also have to make sure that nobody else has something like this. Like, there's here for this one, there's two listed at 175, so it's going to be harder to pull off. But by and large, that's something you should be aware of. So what you might want to do is save an eBay search for the cards that you have, especially the ones that are more rare and less of a commodity. And so that way when your card is coming up for auction, because then you know to remove it as people bid on it. And that way that can free up the ceiling so that there might be some price appreciation. So that's one example. Why do I say rare cards is the only reason you should, the only situation you should do this for? Well, let's take a card that's less rare. So I'm looking at 2018 Panini Prism Silver Prism Luka rookie card, PSA 10. So ignore all this junk up here. These are just fake or wrong matches. Here's one at Probe Steam listed for $1,200 at auction right now with 3.5 days to go. It's at $1,200, but there's one right here for $1,300. So there is no way that this card should go for more than $1,300, which creates the ceiling on it, which is why it's sitting at $1,200 with 3 days to go, right? Because This is probably what the previous comp was at, roughly in that neighborhood. And there's the ceiling of 1300 right here. And that in and of itself is the problem with high pop count cards. They have a hard time going up in price, appreciating in value, because there's always someone willing to sell it at just a little bit above the recent comp, especially with something like this Luka card, which believe has a population over 2,000. There's always, one out of the 1,999 other people who own this card willing to sell it at, just a little bit of a profit, or maybe even break even, or maybe they want to get out of the card, or maybe they got in trade, they might even take a little bit of a loss on it, right? So it's a lot easier for the card to go down than it is to go up when the pop is so high, which is why I'm very bearish on any cards that have a high pop. Basically above 2,000, probably even might probably be looking at something like 1,000 or more. And so in this case, even if you're this person here at 14.29 or best offer, it doesn't matter what you listed at, because there's always someone undercutting you, and that is the problem with high pop count cards, which is why for these type of commodity cards, I don't think there's any point in following that strategy I suggested earlier for these smaller pop count cards, because there's just always someone there. So you'll never be able to be one of the few people who have their card listed as a buy it now. So that's it. That's the video. Just a short little video about how you can remove the artificial ceiling on cards you own when they go to auction by pulling the listings off of eBay, off of MySlabs, off of wherever else you might sell it, just so that it gives them more room to go. Now, whether or not they go up or grow in value and appreciate in value, it's unclear, but at least you've removed the resistance, that glass ceiling that prevents it from going up any higher than it had before when your listing was available for someone to buy. So that's it. That's the video. Let me know in the comments below if this is something you've thought about in the past, or a strategy that you already follow. Would love to hear if this is something you're already aware of, or if you have another strategy to pursue. As always on the channel, we preview the next video, and next time around, I'm going to talk about flippers and dealers. And are we sure they're different people, different groups, and not the same ones? So I'm going to talk about that a little bit more next time. Thank you as always for listening and watching, and I will talk to you all soon. Cheers.